What I'm saying is that uh, uh, that's one of the things I like about doing these podcasts is that people hear me being the way I was in the classroom, being very honest, very truthful. They make a lot of people who are religious or they're have conservative politics will be very unhappy with me, which is fine.
Hmm.
Strokes for different folks.
Yep.
I mean, I would say literally 50% of my friends, former friends in particular, because most of them have died now,
Yeah.
uh, were not liberals. They were kind of conservative,
Hmm.
especially the ones who were ultra rich. Yet I could have great conversations with them, they with me. Uh, I don't have a problem talking to people who are pro-Trump nitwits or who are right-wing Republicans because I can poke fun at them.
Yeah.
I can make them laugh. They don't agree with me. I don't agree with them, but we understand we don't agree with each other, but we happen to we happen to like each other,
Yeah.
and we respect each other's differences of opinion. Now
Hmm.
that's become in our culture today. That's become almost abnormal.
Yeah. Totally.
You are in your particular tribe, and never the twain shall meet.
Yeah.
Fortunately, most of the people that were in opposition to my belief system, I've gotten along with very well. And what's saddening to me is that two of them in particular have passed away, and I enjoyed engaging with them
Hmm.
at our differing views of politics because I learned why they believe such absolute horseshit. And they said, "Oh, now we understand." He goes, "As a liberal, you're one of the more articulate liberals that we know, and we
Hmm.
understand why you believe such horseshit." So
Yeah.
we both understood why we believed our particular horseshit. You know?
Yeah. That's good. As long as you can
Good. No,
respect and
but that
listen
yeah,
and,
yes, yes, and Linda, that's the way it's supposed to be. And
yeah.
years ago, when I was younger, and the world was different, before things got really weird in politics,
Yeah.
that was the way it was. That was the way it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And what you did was, and people used to talk about it, that politics was the art of the compromise, number one,
Mm.
and you
Ooh, I
compromise.
like that. The art of compromise.
Yeah, but that's what it was called. And of course, as a consequence, when you made those compromises,
Mm.
that's how you got things done
Mm.
on the con
I love it. The art of compromise, the art of living, and the art and
yeah,
hustle.
yeah,
It all links up together.
yeah, and of course, it was also part of what was the whole point of the congressional and constitutional arrangement. It was that, yeah, you had differing opinions, and you hash. Look, democracy, like love. I think I said it once upon a time in
Mhm.
a podcast. Democracy, like love, is a dirty, sweaty, gritty business. Okay, I mean, love is a dirty, sweaty, gritty business.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, Sex and lust are different.
Yeah.
Okay, they're of the moment. They're
Mhm.
spontaneous, instantaneous. It's great. Okay,
Mhm.
but love involves a commitment, and commitment involves sacrifice. And
Mhm.
sacrifice, especially when you don't want to sacrifice, is what I mean by it's a dirty, sweaty, gritty business.
Yeah, what is the definition of love?
Yeah, it's commitment, and commitment means sacrifice, and sacrifice means a dirty, sweaty, gritty business. You're going to have to give up certain things that you deem personally important.
Mhm.
The other person is going to have to do the same or should do the same.
Yeah.
And you're going to somehow meet in the middle and say, okay, we both know what we've given up and why it's worth what we're giving up for each other, for
For
the
each other's like happiness.
well, yes, and or if not out and out happiness, for each other's um, sense of solidarity.
Mhm.
I think marriages are a partnership,
Mhm.
and like a partnership, it's like a partnership in business.
Yeah,
Okay,
it is.
you do things for each other to make the business work
Yeah.
and have the business profit.
Mhm.
And look, I'm going to tell you, and as Ronnie and I got older and older,
Mhm.
and as the hormones, that brought us together, started to
Dissipate.
dissipate, moderate, slow down, we said, okay.
Mhm.
And I've said it in a previous podcast. I made the right decision about the kind of person I believed her to be.
Mm-hmm.
I think she did the same thing. I felt here's a woman who's bright, she's educated, she has the same kind of personal cultural values that I have.
Mm-hmm.
I felt that she could be faithful to me, and as a consequence, I could be faithful to her. I
Yeah.
met a lot of hot, steaming women, but you know what my problem was? They were gorgeous, they were bright, they were but I just felt that they didn't have. I didn't feel I could ultimately trust them to be
Mm.
faithful and not only just faithful, but committed to the relationship in a way that would help it last for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now here I am, 45 years in with my wife. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It was 45 years in April. And I'm thinking, you know what? It's not all beer and Skittles. Do we fight? Yeah. Do we yell and scream at each other? Yeah. Do we say obnoxious, horrible things to each other that most people would have been divorced years ago about? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But then afterwards, a few hours later, we laugh, we giggle, and go, "Wasn't that stupid?" And but because what happened was that the 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 basis the bases on which we cemented our relationship have never wavered. You see?
Was there anything that came upon that made you possibly question the marriage, like deal breakers that possibly made you think?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I don't think that if anybody tells you like it's all beer and Skittles, no, it's not. It's not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There were times when I thought, oh my God, this is gonna be a marriage breaker,
Yeah.
either from her end or my end.
Yeah.
I think that dealing with her children, uh, that was always a horror. Okay,
Yeah.
and she may have said to me, well, yeah, you know, I understand why you might feel you about my children the way you do, uh, and I think that what saved me, saved her with me was she'd say, I love them unconditionally. However, that doesn't mean I always like them. Okay.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
I said, well, great. I neither love them nor like them. Okay. But the fact of the matter is, I respect the fact that that's the position you're in. And I
Mm.
married you knowing you had these two kids. And I just felt that, you know what, under the circumstances, I could make it work. I
Mm.
could make it work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she kind of indicated, yeah, well, I could make it work too. That my relationship with you is worth my making it work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, lots of times people won't get that far. They'll say, fuck it, we're out of here.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing of like what were some of those like deal breakers besides the kids? Was there what else was
Well,
there?
well, there were specifics, which I don't want to get into, but I mean, the
Okay.
fact of the matter is that, for example, I viewed how she handled her children differently about as to how I would have handled her children.
Yeah.
And we agreed that since they were her kids, not mine,
Mm-hmm.
that she had to handle them as she saw fit.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing was, I would say to her, here's why I don't agree with how you're handling them.
Yeah.
I want you to understand why I feel the way I do.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to be honest with you, I probably, sometimes in retrospect, I probably shouldn't have told her how I really felt
Okay.
because I think that she would say, well, I think sometimes she held it against me. And
Oh
I,
really?
and I said, yeah, look, I'm just trying to be honest with you. I'm not going to lie to you. I think,
I wouldn't be a good husband if I didn't tell you.
well, no, actually, there are some people would argue that the better, smarter, wiser husbands would keep their own counsel and just say, okay, honey, you're
Mm-hmm.
open, you do what you need to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I can't even say, look, you and your husband, their father, uh, have to agree.
Mm-hmm.
Because their father basically abandoned them.
Mm-hmm.
He was like totally uninvolved with their lives for decades. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I said when they talk about their father, I said no. What they really mean is their sire. He sired them. He
The
gave you.
sperm donor?
Yeah, he was a sperm donor. As a parent, he was non-existent.
Mm-hmm.
The man was a total narcissistic, totally selfish,
Yeah.
not too bright, just freaking moron. Okay,
Yeah.
for whom I've never had any real respect. Okay, and but now that they're in their 60s, they're starting to say, well, he was a scumbag. Yeah, he abandoned us, but he's still our quote father unquote. And I keep saying, no, he was your sire, quote unquote. But that's me. And by the way, they've got to do what makes them feel happy, comfortable, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
The guy doesn't deserve their attention, but you know, to their credit, they're giving him the attention he doesn't deserve. But
Mm-hmm.
going back to my original premise, I think that this issue about commitment
Mm-hmm.
to your perception of what each other are
Yeah.
and your relationship could be,
Mm-hmm.
that's what ultimately makes it work. And in the modern culture, this is another difficulty, is that too many young people, for whatever reasons, maybe it's cultural, I don't know what it is, but maybe it has to do with money. They don't they don't work hard to make it work. In other words, okay,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
We're gonna go. We're getting divorced, and they and,
Mm-hmm.
and they move on. They move on,
Yeah.
and they're not willing to do the work. My favorite philosophers, scholars, whatever, named Joseph Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
Joseph Campbell talks in his books about how marriage is an ordeal,
Mm-hmm.
and it's an ordeal by way of its ritualistic aspects. Okay, in other words, you have to it has involves all the stuff I mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy. It's not like I said. It's not beer and skittles. It's not it's not a walk on the beach. It's
Yeah.
difficult, and you make it. You go through it for lots and lots of reasons. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and our discussion last time was about, and I think we want to call this episode too the same thing. It's that it's not about the destination; it's about the journey.
Mm-hmm.
And in the journey of our lives, uh, what's important is what we experience on a day-to-day basis,
Mm-hmm.
and the experiences we have over a period of time. And what's the goal? Well, you know what? I could argue, as Joseph Campbell does. You say, well, what's the meaning of life? Well, probably nothing. You know, you're born, you live, you die. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Some of like the old T-shirt, life's a bitch, then you die.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
my case, life was a beach. It was great fun, has been a great fun, but I'm still gonna die. Okay?
Yeah.
So, so, so the point of it is, what was my journey like?
Mm-hmm.
What did I want my journey to be?
Mm-hmm.
Part of my journey was I didn't know what it was going to be. I didn't know what it might be.
Yeah.
I just, by living my goals or my preferences on a day-to-day basis, I wound up having a journey that wound up being way better, way more fun, way more productive than it had any right to be. I never could have planned it
Mm-hmm.
as well as it ultimately turned out. Okay.
Mm. Well, I mean, that's amazing in itself for someone like you who does, look at all aspects of life and all of it. And then for you not even to plan this part of it and for you to love it and get so much out of it.
Yeah, but I think that's what's interesting is that, and this is another thing too, where people believe erroneously that they've got control in this
Hmm.
life.
Yeah.
We really don't have control.